Paul eats an entire gourd. Oh, that would be nice. I wish I had a gourd. I would smash it and eat its insides. I just got a notification for my own stream. Does that make sense in any fucking way? I am on the Highdeology channel, right? Just to make sure. Just... Alright, just making sure that I didn't accidentally switch over to, like, the Deep Fat Fried channel or some shit and stream it on it. I just got a notification from my own stream. Fair enough. I'm not going to complain. At least they sent it. Cool show tonight. I'm glad you enjoyed. Good evening, Highdeologies and Highdeologos. The ping pong joke is in progress. Nope, it's over. You've heard it now. Now it's your job to tell it to at least one person before you die. The joke is you wasted a bunch of people's time listening to a fucking long-ass ridiculous story that means nothing. And then you leave them there stunned. I remember the first time I heard that joke, Kevin just walked out of the room after he did the death thing. He laid there for about 10 seconds while everybody was just like... And then he just got up. Yeah, and thanks to YouTube, you know exactly how much time you wasted, too. At least like close to an hour of your time. It's just memes, bruh. Norm Macdonald's was the first time I heard it. Norm Macdonald didn't tell the ping pong ball joke, did he? He told the moth joke. Never heard anybody tell the ping pong ball joke. Isn't that the same thing? No. It isn't. It isn't. The moth joke is way shorter. See. For one. Has a totally actually has a punchline that pays off. Well, I mean, it's not raining now. Maybe you're having a rainy week. Paul, tell the moth joke. No. Don't be telling me what to do, Slow Loris. I don't like you. How's it going for me? Come see, come saw. You know what I mean? You win some, you lose some. Ups, downs, strikes, gutters. That's life. Man, don't turn this into a fucking stonks thing. I don't do it. Go discuss your stonks on a stonk forum or some shit. Nobody here is gonna hold fucking AMC because you typed it a bunch of fucking times in my chat. I'm fine talking about it. I'm fine that you're doing it. I support it, but there's nothing I have to say about it. So just a chat full of hold AMC and questions about it is... It's all right. I don't gotta be sorry. Just do it. Just do it. You ever have anxiety slowly evolve into burning anger over the course of a day? I mean, anxiety and anger can often be linked. Anxiety makes you more prone to be mentally exhausted, which can make you shorter with people and be expressed as anger and exasperation. And that happens to me. But I don't really feel like it's the anxiety necessarily turning into anger. It's just that's the release valve that happens with me sometimes. And it's one that I've worked really hard not to do. I try not to tea kettle people unless it's time, like unless it's needed. If somebody's fucking up and I'm in charge of, dealing with it, then they're going to get the tea kettle. It's just the way it is. It's like notifications are slow today. They've been slow all week. D, come on. Stay up here where I can see you. You don't need to be sniffing around out in the yard all night. It's cold. Am I drinking just water? Operation Valanche. The first rule of Operation Valanche is that you don't speak about Operation Valanche. You ever get drunk on stream? I've been drunk on streams before, but as far as like me getting drunk just to come out here and stream for you guys, probably not, no. There might be a time in the future where I stream at a time where I'm already drinking or some shit. Like, I'm not ruling that out, but I don't sit and drink by myself and do streams. That's just, that's no bueno. Kill some brain cells for us, Paul. Drown those suckers for the $8.99 in super chats. Yeah, buddy. You deleted a stream you did drunk because you didn't trust what you might have said. Yeah, that's true. I think I remember that. I did a stream probably about a year ago, maybe more now, where I sat there and I drank basically a whole bottle of wine. And by the end of the stream, I was like, can I remember a fucking thing that I even said or did during the stream? I was like, nope. Well, better take the time that I've got this in my head to figure out how to unlist the stream and delete it or whatever the fuck. That's another thing with it too. It's like, you got to be even more careful nowadays than ever when you're streaming and shit. You can't say certain things. YouTube's got all these fucking draconian rules that they pile on top of everything. And so I've always got to try at least to keep in the back of my mind that I'm on that platform. And if I'm drunk, I'm probably not gonna. It's just not the best position to be in. I don't even really like being drunk anymore, to be honest with you. Getting a little head change after having a couple beers real quick, one after the other or something is nice. But, like, getting full-blown, like, soused, 3 sheets to the wind, shitty fucking puddle of puke drunk, like, no thank you. It's nice on a fucking, good day. You're sitting outside enjoying yourself, crack a beer or some shit. Hell, crack 2, but it's just not something I reach for all that fucking often, to be frank. Makes edgy stuff spicier now. The Thrash Prayer out-of-date bit had me in tears. Absolutely hilarious. I can tell you guys were nervous after, though. No, I wasn't really nervous after that. It was funny. And I think that came through. It's just that, like, recently we had something like that go down in a show where I went on a rant that, in context, is clearly meant to be a joke. I was clearly parodying, these kind of, like, redneck pieces of shit. But I did it really early on in the episode, and then one of our editors decided to highlight that fact. And that, that could have been a fucking disastrous situation for us. We could have lost our channel, could have lost our Patreon, just for a stupid joke. Just for a stupid, ridiculous, overly edgy joke, And so I come from a different fucking time, and I have to make my nut here. And so I have to be fucking careful. It is very easy for me to let slip the dogs of war, It's very easy for me to slip back into that old mindset because I held it for so many years. Anything that you change about yourself when it comes to that, and I've made decisions based on other factors too, and certain words I don't use as much. And, it's not just a cynical because I can't make money on YouTube saying them type of thing. It has way more to do with empathy than anything else. But when it comes down to it, there are times where I feel like making one of those edgy ass jokes, and those just don't fly anymore. They're not jokes anymore. They're real, So. Tis what it is. I mean, whatever, dude. A lot of the edge shit was like easy fucking fodder, and it was picked up like a torch and carried by people. I watched this clip the other day of, it was this streamer chick. She was playing that game Dead by Dawn. I can't remember who linked it or where. Might have been on my Twitter or some shit. Can't remember where I saw it, but it was somebody had clipped a part of their of her stream. And she went on this rant. Some dude came in and was talking about like what color panties are you wearing or some shit. And she just kind of rightfully was like, don't be a fucking dick. Like, don't just come in here. She wasn't like a titty streamer. She was legit playing the game and stuff. And the guy immediately came back with, whoa, somebody can't take a joke. And it's just like, she goes on this rant where she talks about how, like, you need to look up Mike Birbiglia. He's a stand-up comic. Search Mike Birbiglia and I was just joking. And you'll see how he points out that people like you have ruined comedy. Because you hear something somewhere else that you think is funny, and you say it, and it's not funny. You didn't tell a joke. And then when somebody calls you on it for being a shit fuck asshole, then you lean back on the joke thing. You never made a joke. And it's the same fucking situation here. 99% of the edge jokes that you were made were just kids trying to get a rise out of people. They weren't funny. They weren't smart. They weren't witty. Now, there were some that were, and still some that are. It's still possible to make an edgy joke. But a lot of the just casual fucking dumbasses that have no idea what they're talking about, just repeating something that they've heard, a lot of that shit's in check now. And in my opinion, only for the better. There's a certain degree of edginess that's offensive beyond forgiveness, but the actual clever ones were pretty great. It's a decent percentage of what made DP so fun. Sure. And I can see that, and I can understand that, and, you still get some edgy jokes from us. We do what we can, but people will say something as a joke, even if they were clearly not intending it. It's like a landing thing. Like that streamer chick that I was quoting there and from that clip I watched was exactly right. He's one of these dudes that comes in, makes some shitty out-of-hand comment, and then gets called out for being a shitty fucking person, and then immediately wants to fall back on the, oh, I was joking and you didn't get it, because it makes the other person the bad guy yet again. And that happens so many fucking times. I'm telling you, dude, as a semi-public D-list internet celebrity or whatever the fuck, I can't tell you how many fucking times people will type out what is clearly a well thought out but stupid answer or question to me, And then when I call them on it, they go like, oh, it looks like somebody's salty, can't take a joke. And it's just like cover for people that don't have a fucking brain cell in their head to rub up against another one. You know what I mean? Oh, we're joking. Yeah, it's the comment of equivalent of just a prank, bro, or you mad or whatever the fuck. Just people have taken that to the extreme. Well, at some point, I really do feel like it's changed a whole lot, in terms of just like people rampaging all over the internet, screaming the N-word just because it's funny to get people triggered by saying it. You know what I mean? That's not a joke. That's just you being a dick and then delighting in people telling you that you're a dick, you know?
Too much energy.
I'll bring it here.
Too much energy.
I hate the "you're too uptight" defense. Oh yeah,
That was the last one you needed.
dude, that'll happen too. I love people that'll come at you all sideways and shitty. They'll be like, "Paul, you're a moron on this issue," and then you'll come back like, "No, you're the fucking moron, bitch." But blah 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 blah, and then they'll be like, "Whoa, no need to get all aggressive," and it's just like, what? That's a ban from me. Like, I don't mind if you come at me like that, but if you get mad at me for coming back at you like that, you're gone. What a waste of my fucking time. Paul is the definition of insecure and uptight. Then why am I going to let you stay in this fucking chat to see if you have anything smart to say before I eventually ban you because you're a time-wasting piece of fucking shit? Why is it going to go down like that? I'm just joking. It did the prank. Why you get so angry with me? I had that happen with a dude in the run-up to the electoral cycle on Twitter. There's some fucking smug-ass piece of shit in my comments. It just kept making the same fucking comment. Every time I would make a post, he was up in it. And I usually ignore people like that because it's really not worth your time to engage. But I finally got sick of seeing his shit, so I engaged him. And he'd been the whole fucking time like, Paul's a moron, Paul's an idiot. And so I responded to him in kind. I was like, you're a fucking, I can't even remember what I told him. But I just, gave him a slice. And his immediate response after all that time, all those replies to me with me not even seeing what he was saying or not reading it or not responding to it at the very least, his response to me was, well, if you're just going to be like, if you're going to come at me with ad hominems, then there's no point in having a talk. I was like, what? Banned.
Or blocked, at least.
Blocked or whatever, whatever you do on Twitter. Same difference.
I like the mute. You just have them screaming into the void.
This is all because I'm insecure about my weight. Oh boy. We got armchair Freud up in here, folks. That's strike 2 for you, by the way. You got one more. Next comment I noticed from you that's stupid. That's gonna be your last day on Earth.
He's got 5 minutes to decide.
Yep, you got 5 minutes to cook one up. Hate that Twitter is so central to many people's lives. I mean, it's not that many people. You got to understand, like, Twitter is a conglomeration, and it makes it look like there's tons and tons of people using it, but When it comes to the average person on the planet, there's not that many people that are using Twitter, and there's even fewer people that are taking it seriously. So
It's just incestuous.
yeah. It's just the news media has picked up on it like it's somehow some finger on the pulse of the American public, when really it's just a bunch of people trolling each other back and forth, basically. The perfect proof of that, and I always bring it up when people talk about the power of social media or whatever, is this big kind of hate cancel Louis C.K. campaign that was going on Twitter, where if you went on Twitter at the time, you would think, oh man, this dude's going to be persona non grata everywhere, dude. Nobody in the world even wants to see Louis C.K. anymore. He came back and did a gig and sold the fucking place out. And there was one person that got offended and complained about it. And I was like, and I remember making the observation at the time, that one person is Twitter.
And Twitter curates it for you.
Right.
Like, if you go to the actual trending, you see that, like, 99% of the time it's about sports.
Right. Yeah, Twitter is bullshit. Twitter, it magnifies opinions. It has a magnifying effect on certain opinions. Makes it seem like that there's some mass movement of people, when really it's just a group of ideologues kind of cross-trolling one another and feeding on each other's energy and shit. You know, but that is true. That one person that walked out of Louis C.K.'s show because he was offended, or she was offended, or they were offended, is Twitter. That's Twitter that walked out. And the rest of the sold-out show that loved what Louis C.K. had to say and was willing to let bygones be bygones with his shit because he addressed it and came out and apologized for it, that's the rest of the world. So, there you go. I always remember that when I look at Twitter and I start to get that feeling of dread, like, can people be this dumb? And then I remember, like, well, yeah, they can, but it's not all people. It's not the vast majority of people. It's a very small group of people that are this fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm. I love, like, the normal business accounts trying to survive.
It's just such a fucking wasteland anymore. What he did was forgivable, in my opinion. Well, number one, you don't have to forgive him for anything because he didn't do anything to you. I hate this idea that when a celebrity is accused of doing something to somebody else, whatever it is, or something untoward, that people think that they have to forgive that celebrity. And it's like, what? You forgive a friend that did you wrong. You forgive a partner that stepped out on you. You forgive your mom for being an alcoholic. You don't forgive somebody you've never met and never did a thing to you and doesn't even know you exist. It's just like, forgive? What he did was forgivable. It's like, what?
Like, people are fucking complicated.
Yeah, human beings are complex psychological monkeys. I'm not fucking signing on. You remember the fucking argument I got in with TJ about what Louis C.K. did, and I took the negative side of it. I thought what he did was inappropriate. I thought he abused his position to get his jollies off, and I don't like it when people do that. Did he rape anybody? No. Did he harm anybody physically? No. Did he take advantage of somebody and use his position of power over them? Yes. Is that a negative thing? Yes. Am I going to let it stop me from laughing at a Louis C.K. joke in the future, especially considering he came out and apologized for it in one of the most embarrassing fucking videos I've ever seen? No. I'll go right ahead and laugh. What did he do? He invited a couple of female comedians who were low on the totem pole at the time when he was big king shit comedian back to his trailer to talk comedy. And then when they were in there, he sprung on them, hey, can I pull out my dick and jerk off in front of you? And they, being kind of stunned by it, apparently sat there and watched him do it. And then the word got out that he did it, and one of them started complaining about it. It's a fucked up situation. If you're in a position like that over somebody, you should never ask for sexual favors under false pretenses from them. It's one thing if you hit on them in a fucking environment where it's totally normal to do that and they reciprocate and you go fuck. Like, it's a whole different ball of wax. It's like inviting people to your trailer to like, hey, you know, young comedian, young up and comer, you want like 20 minutes with the number one comedian in the world right now, Louis C.K., and let's talk about your act. And then when you get in there, it's 10 minutes later, it's a bait and switch for him to come. It's not cool. But the guy showed contrition for it. The guy apologized to the people he did it to. And the guy's still funny as fuck. So get bent. He didn't do anything to me. He doesn't require my forgiveness. Just a weird kind of idea. It's like people think that when a celebrity crosses the line with somebody, it's one thing to be concerned about what that celebrity did and be turned off by the idea of continuing to watch their shit. I'm not telling you who to watch or where your fucking line should be. It's another thing entirely to take public like your desire for them to earn forgiveness for what they've done, as if that's your job, like you're the victim or some victim's advocate or some shit. You're just a drama monger on the fucking internet. You know what I mean? It's just stupid. It's just like, I understand people calling out this shitty behavior. I really do. I never really worked in an environment where it was openly sanctioned that dudes could like pinch a chick on the ass or something. But I'm like one generation from that shit. I'm one generation, maybe even less than one generation, being born in 1980, from a time where it was just normal for you to just slap your secretary on the ass or comment about her tits all fucking day, or do things like Louis C.K. was doing, abuse your position of power and your knowledge that that person lower on the totem pole wants to work up higher, and under false pretenses get them into some kind of sexual situation that they feel obligated to participate in. The good old days. Peyton, that was naughty.
You wouldn't like if you were sexually harassed.
I mean, maybe he would. I don't know, but I somehow doubt it. I mean, TJ has a story about this.
Yeah.
He worked for...
Oh, yeah, the little office thing, yeah.
He worked in one of his dad's offices for a while. And there was a woman there that would just openly come on to him. Just like always making comments and touching him and rubbing his leg and pinching his butt and making comments about this and that and this and that. And it's like, it's a two-way street, bro. I think women suffer it more routinely than men do in the workplace. But to think that there's no sexual harassment flowing back up that other way, that's ridiculous. It happens. Dude, I don't really feel like I was harassed, but I was inappropriately sexually propositioned multiple times by one chick I worked with at Starbucks.
Are you talking about the one that sat on the counter?
Her name was Bernie.
Yeah.
Yeah, short for Bernadine or Bernice or something. But she went by Bernie. No, I'm not talking about the one that sat on the counter. Yeah. That was mutual. I could have stopped that before it happened. I kind of let that happen because part of me was interested in her too, but I knew it couldn't go farther than that, and she didn't. That's different than this chick who every dude that worked at the store would get to hear about how horny she was, how DTF she was.
Oh, you're the one that smoked in your house.
Yeah, the one that showed up at my house and fucking tried to put the moves on me and shit. After multiple times of me telling her, like, I ain't interested. Mm-hmm. And everybody would tell her that. And she still was able to come to work. And if she had been a dude, she'd have been gone. If she was a dude going to every chick that I worked with, going like, oh, fuck, I just want to fuck you so bad. She would do that shit. She'd fucking wait for you to get off work. Or if you got off at the same time as she did, if she got off shift, she'd come out in the fucking parking lot and proposition you. Over and over. Was she bad? Not in the good way. Not in the way that it means now. She was bad, but not bad, not a bad bitch. She was just bad. You know what I mean? Just bad in the dictionary definition way. Still getting things done at work before I can go home and roll up with y'all. What's up, everybody? What's the topic? We're talking about sexual harassment, I guess. Yeah. And how it flows both ways, and how it's always shitty to do, and how it's good to live in a time where it's not normalized in the workplace anymore. It still happens a lot. There's still a lot of people who are propositioned by their superiors with promises of, vague promises of advancement or whatever the fuck. And that's, but it's nowhere near the way it used to be. It's not an open, funny thing to be slapping your female coworkers on the ass or grabbing your male coworkers' dicks.
I mean, fuck, in the fucking Clinton administration, that was like the first real outcry of like inter-work relations.
Yeah. But, I didn't really feel harassed by it. Like, it's not something that I still think about every day, and it's not something that I felt like I wanted to take legal action for. But it was annoying as fuck that this chick would not give up, would not leave me alone, and that I had to hear her sexual innuendos and her sexual come-ons to the point where she showed up at my house to try and fuck me after me showing zero interest in her. What about same-sex harassment? Same shit. It happens. It happens at workplaces. And schools and businesses and fucking any environment where people have power over one another, any environment where people are working with one another, you're going to find, maybe not in every store, but any environment, you're going to find sexual harassment. And it's going to be between the whole cornucopia of gender. I was routinely sexually harassed by a female performer back when I was in a play. It made me incredibly uncomfortable. I laughed it off, though. Yeah. I was never sexually harassed at a play. I did a lot of shows, but I can understand how uncomfortable that would have been, especially if it was years ago before, there was really any kind of spotlight at all on the fact that sexual harassment ran that way. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's what I did with this chick I'm talking about at Starbucks, She'd come to me with shit, and I'd fucking roll my eyes and laugh it off and just ignore it. And it was just another thing she had to inject into my day, sexual-wise, that if I were coming to work and creeping on the females at work or other dudes at work like that, my ass would have been shit-canned, guaranteed. My boss fired me for not dating him. Well, there you go. You had a lawsuit on your hands. I feel like it's more socially acceptable for women to harass men. I mean, the line does seem to be blurred. It's like, what you need to understand at the beginning, if we're going to talk about this, is that women disproportionately suffer sexual violence as the world over, right? It's just the truth. So that needs to be said unequivocally at the beginning of this, is that women are disproportionately likely to experience sexual violence in their lives than men are. That being said, there are a profound amount of men that experience some sort of sexual violence in their lives. And sexual harassment is a form of psychological sexual violence. It's not rape, but it's in the wheelhouse. It's part of rape sometimes, is the constant pursuit of somebody who doesn't want you, and then the eventual rape. This happens constantly, and so it's related. It's definitely in the same category. Okay. Exhales and MGTOW. I'm not trying to be a MGTOW. Like, anytime you talk about dudes suffering a fucking problem, you're being a MGTOW. I'm not a man going my own way. I'm just acknowledging the fact that abuse happens in households. Let me explain another type of abuse that happens in households, and this one I can give you firsthand. The first person that I ever dated seriously was routinely, not super often, but routinely enough, physically abusive to me. Would grab me by the arms and use the fact that she was a woman and that I wasn't going to hit her ever to shove me into corners so that I couldn't escape her when she wanted to yell at me. She hit me in the face on 2 or 3 occasions. Just open-handed slapped me as hard as she could in the face during arguments. Okay? So it happens. At the time, I thought that this was normal because it was normalized in movies and in popular media for a woman to just walk up, not like what a man has to say, and slap him full in the face. And the man just stands there, you know. But the truth of what happened in that relationship was I was physically abused in a relationship. I'm glad I got out of it too. But at the time, I didn't even know I was in something that was wrong. I thought that every dude went through this. Every dude's girl would get physical, shove him around, back him into corners, not let him leave rooms, hit him on occasion. I thought that that was just kind of like what chicks did when fighting happened. It was my first fucking real relationship ever. I think if a woman hits you and is violent with you, you can smash her in the face like the Big Show's knockout punch. Well, you might think that, but the law doesn't, because what would have happened to me, and this is just the fucking truth, unless I had videotape, and even if I had videotape, which at the time camera phones weren't even a thing, so me having a fucking camera there when shit like this happened was a non-starter, okay? So even if I had tape, if I would have jaw-jacked her as hard as I could and knocked her out to get away or to get out of the physically abusive situation, I would have went to jail. Period. Almost guaranteed. 95% certainty that when she wakes up, she's going to call the cops, or when I call the cops to explain them what's happened, they're going to put me in handcuffs. And I'm going to go to jail for domestic violence and assault and battery. Not just in a conservative area, my friend. No. Sorry. And guess what, dude? If you're black, take that 95% and make it a 99.9. If you're a black man whose female partner walks up and punches you in the face and you hit her back, that 95% chance that the cop is going to haul you to jail for it just became 99.9. You're going to jail. And they're going to throw the book at your ass, too. And that's not a joke jail term. That's time. You're going to serve real time. You're going to have a felony assault on your record for the rest of your life. Because you defended yourself. See? It's not a consideration you can make. Look at the Johnny Depp situation. Dude was getting abused with tons of evidence. Meanwhile, he's fired from everything. Well, I don't know. Like, that's the thing. With the whole Johnny Depp thing, all I know is the scuttlebutt from the papers and the bullshit that they flung at each other back and forth. She's claimed he was physically abusive. She's claimed she was. There's evidence, blah, blah, blah. I haven't looked at it. I'm not saying it's not the way you said, Zach. I'm not trying to say that. I just don't feel comfortable saying it's cut and dried. But if you take the situation as you presented it, Johnny Depp is just one dude going through this, that there's probably a lot of dudes going through very, very similar situations.
It's just hard, like, with these celebrity scandals to take anything at face value.
Because it's played up. Both sides are played up by the media for views and clicks and attention.
We'll have lawyers that do very carefully crafted statements.
Right. And it's like, that's why we have a judicial process, so that rumor and all of that doesn't rule the day. It's what can be proved in the court and shit. And but anyway. You know, This whole idea of violence between sexual partners or prospective sexual partners, or violence in the workplace in the form of sexual harassment or molestation, or at school, it's a problem. And only now in this generation do I even see it being addressed at all by the mainstream. And I'm happy that it is being addressed, but I think there's a long road to hoe. Knew a dude in high school. He was 18, girlfriend 17. She got pregnant. Parents freaked out, made him a rapist. Dude K'd himself not long after. I mean, they must have lived in a state where there was no Romeo and Juliet law in effect or some shit.
Or just the parents were more powerful for whatever
Or,
reason.
yeah, but I mean, if that happened, that's fucking horrible. I'd ask if you have any hope for the future, but I forgot this was Pessimist Productions for a second. Yeah. Hitting women isn't wrong, but hitting your partner is never acceptable. I mean, hitting anybody is not morally wrong on the face of it. It's the context of it. Like, if you just walk up to somebody in the street and punch them, you've done a wrong to them. If you walk up to your partner because you're mad at them for something they said and you strike them, you've done a wrong. But if somebody comes up to you and is threatening your body and your person, and it comes down to you or them, and you jaw jack somebody, you've not done something wrong. You've defended yourself, or you defended a loved one, or defended, both in some cases. It's a matter of defensive and offensive use of violence. Got groped in high school by some girl I knew. I tried to tell people, but they brushed me off. It's ridiculous. I mean, yeah. Those types of stories are pretty common, but I got to tell you, dude, equally as common are stories of girls who get that stuff like that happen to them and they're too ashamed to come forward because there's a stigma on women like that. Where it's like she might come forward and complain about it, but the rumor around school will be that she's a slut. And she just did it because she was mad because he fucked her or whatever, and blah, blah, blah. And if he puts that narrative out into the school will more than likely pick it up. So women have their own particular problems to face when it comes to coming forward about their sexual violence. They're often vilified. Look at what happened to the woman that accused Joe Biden of being a fucking groping, finger-banging rapist. Look how she was vilified in the media. What happened to believe all women? Well, it went out the fucking window when it was a powerful person that got accused. And a powerful person that the media wanted to build up. You see the inherent hypocrisy, it trickles down. You think that only exists at the top level? It exists in the workplace. It exists in law enforcement. There are law enforcement officials that don't do their jobs, and a woman comes forward with, tales of abuse, and they don't follow up on it, and she continues to get abused.
In the military, it's pretty bad with the sexual violence there.
Military is another environment where a lot of women are harassed and raped. And the power structure is used, and the kind of desire to be a conformist is used to psychologically pressure women and men who are assaulted in this way to not speak up. Even in this climate of Me Too, even in this climate of open acceptance, even in this climate of believe the victim, there is still immense social pressure on people who are assaulted sexually or physically to come forward and say something about it for various reasons. Coworker told me the other day that he thinks a woman gets blackout drunk and is raped or assaulted during that time. She needs to accept responsibility. Are you serious, dude? I mean, that doesn't even like warrant responding to. And You know, I wouldn't talk to that fucking coworker anymore if that actually happened to you and that wasn't just a troll comment. Like, if that actually happened to you, the next time that coworker walked up to me, I'd tell them, don't fucking ever speak to me again. Get out of my face. Give me a wide berth here at work. If it happened, it happened. That's what I would do. Then that's my advice to you. The next time you see that coworker walks up to you to say some bullshit, just say, I don't want to hear what you have to say. Thank you. I want nothing to do with you. See ya. Shh. Bzz. Buzz the fuck off. It's not give me a wide berth like a baby being born. It's give me a wide berth like a berth for a ship. A berth is a place where a ship is harbored. It's saying give me space on either side, motherfucker. Stay out of my way. It's another way of saying that. It's like you always say, you just want to shake some people. There are motherfuckers on this blighted planet that can't help but have harmful opinions. Yep. You can want to shake people all you want. I do all the time. You know, mostly like demagogues and just stupid people. I just want to grab them and just... I don't want that. That's a naturally human emotion to deal with, but acting on that is never okay.
Unless they're in your face.
Unless they're fucking attacking you and you need to defend yourself, of course. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. See, I have conflicting views on the use of violence because I've seen some shit happen before where violence was employed. And maybe you can weigh in on this and tell me how you feel about this shit, because it is really something that it sounds contradictory given the talk I just gave. I've seen people who are just like unrepentantly social assholes get punched in the face. And it's like it fixes them. You know what I mean? Like the next time that person is in a social situation, they're not a fucking cocksmoker anymore. They've learned their lesson that they can't fuck with people. I've seen that happen. So does that boil down to the fact that there are just some people who are aggressive in a certain way that they need to fuck with the wrong one and get got one time?
I mean, I think, yeah, there's stages of violence, and like with the anti-maskers and like retail workers is probably a good example of like, it might not be overtly threatening, but just the demeanor and
right.
That.
It's like, I'll give you an example. Just there was an asshole dude one time that was dating one of my. She's actually my cousin, but because my mom had a sister so much older, I always called her my aunt because she was about my mom's age. And she was dating this guy, and he was just a dick. He would make shitty, snide comments to people all the time. And he had a propensity to get drunk and never do violence, but threaten it. Like he'd get drunk and he'd be like,
you can throw the first punch if there's threats of violence on the other side.
Right. But he was a dude that got away with the fact that nobody wants to punch anybody. And so people would just placate him. And usually he would pipe down, and it was like a little ego game for him. He got to blow off some steam and act like he was going to do it, but then somebody had to come stop him. And it was this little game he was playing all the time, right? Where he'd come over, he'd party at my mom's house, he'd get drunk, and all of a sudden somebody said some shit that pissed him off. And he's, starts talking to people, I'm going to find that motherfucker, kick his ass. And then everybody goes, just chill out. And they chill him out and get him another beer, and that's his little cycle, right? Well, one night, one of my friends was playing pool with him. We were all partying at my mom's house. And he started talking shit to my friend. It was Waylon. And Waylon is a dude that like, he doesn't take that shit personally, but he's a troll like me. So he was giving it just as good as he was getting it. He was beating this dude at pool. The guy started talking shit to him, and instead of Waylon just being quiet and letting him talk shit, Waylon talked shit back. He was like, oh, fuck you. He's like, I was in the army. He pulled this army card on him. He's like, you need to learn some respect. And Waylon was like, why would I respect you? He's like, I served in the army. And Waylon was like, so fucking what? Anybody can serve in the army, dipshit. You know, he was just giving him back what he was getting. So the dude started in on that shit. Well, that night, one of my other cousins happened to be there. One of the big dudes that works in corrections also happened to be drinking. He went and confronted Dave because he's not about violence happening at my mom's house. And instead of placating, I just used the guy's name, but whatever. There's tons of people named Dave. Anyway, he went over to confront Dave and tell him, you're going to stop. Instead of placating him, he said, you're going to stop threatening Waylon. You're not going to lay a fucking finger on him. Dave got up in his face. Dude jaw-jacked him. Knocked him the fuck out. Dragged him inside, and when he woke up, he was ushered outside, and a cab was called for him, and he was sent home. The next time he was at one of my mom's parties, not a whisper of it. Sat there and drank, had a good old time. Never heard a fucking word of violence out of his mouth ever again. It's anecdotal. Doesn't mean it works in every fucking situation, but I still have this belief in me that there are some people out there that are so socially aggressive and so unaware.
Well, just what you're saying, that like sexual harassment is kind of aligned with sexual assault. Like verbal harassment is kind of aligned with physical assault. So
yeah, it is what it is. You know, it's one of those things. It's like a gray area in the way I feel about violence, because I'm a super nonviolent person. I don't perpetuate violence. I don't advocate for it. I don't do it to people. The very few times in my life that I have been violent, I've made contrition for. I'm just not that way. But there are certain fucking people that just need to catch one. I genuinely believe that. Not get killed, not get fucking maimed or disfigured. They just need to get beat one time. And then they learn. When was the last fight that I had? The last physical altercation that I was in grade school. Like, I've been part of fights, like breaking them up. I've broken a couple of friends up since then. Like in my 20s, that used to happen time to time. A couple dudes get heated or whatever and want to go at it. You jump in, push them apart. But I have not been in a stand-up, square-up with another person fight since I was in fucking, like, the 5th grade. I just don't do it. It's not my thing. I got beat by a Broncos fan in the 5th grade. Would have been, like, how old are you in 5th grade? Like 10? So it would have been, like, 1990, 1991. The Niners fucking raffle stomped. Maybe it was 88 or some shit. I don't remember how old I fucking was. But that was the last big fight I was ever in. I got my ass beat by a Broncos fan kid at school that was salty about the fact that the 49ers absolutely mud stomped them.
Fucking the worst fights I saw are probably in middle school. Like, we were at the fucking, like, getting on all the buses to go home. Like, these two girls were fucking, like, clawing at each other and going at it.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some vicious-ass fights. I saw some in high school, too. Like, we had some gang stuff in our high school, and so people would fucking beat on each other. And women are vicious in fights when they're fighting each other. Like, not that men aren't, but, I mean, they got a whole different way. They're clawing, yanking each other's hair out and shit. I've seen some crazy shit. I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah, probably, I'd say overall, middle school was more violent. Like, I got more, like, it was probably more harassment in middle school, too. People
Yeah.
just playing around with, like, pulling bra straps.
I mean, it makes more sense in middle school. You know, you got a bunch of fucking kids you're working with still. But once you reach high school, you're dealing with young adults. It's like, you're supposed to socialize a little better than that and prepare yourself for a world where you can't walk up to somebody and snap their fucking bra strap and
I
shit.
tell you about that fucking poisoning that happened in middle school?
You got a poisoning?
Yeah, like these guys fucking sprayed window cleaner into the teacher's coffee
You
cup.
did tell me about that.
And she ended up in the hospital and ended up fucking expelled.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll get you expelled. You poisoned a teacher. Yep, that'll do it. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. I never had anything like that. I never had anybody poison a teacher in high school. That's a whole new ball of wax for me. More than expelled? Yeah, they probably ended up in some kind of continuation school with some kind of like...
I mean, they claimed it was a prank and they didn't realize how harmful it was going to be, but...
It's Windex, bro. It's a cleaning solution. Would you drink it? Juvie, maybe. Yeah, it depends.
I mean, there was that, and then there was the shooting in high school, but it wasn't at my high school. It was at the neighboring high school.
Yeah, there was never a shooting at my high school. I mean, there was never... I was talking about this a few shows ago. Like, when I was in high school, that shit didn't happen. I mean, I guess it did. There were shootings at schools that predated Columbine, but it's like Columbine kicked open some floodgates on that shit socially. Because they're just like, the thought of somebody bringing a fucking gun to school was unthinkable. Nobody would do it. Nobody was looking to shoot nobody at a school. Nobody was looking to kill their whole class. But yet, while I was in high school, that song Jeremy came out by Pearl Jam, which if you've ever watched the video or listened to the lyrics, is about a little boy that got picked on by people and then showed up at school and killed them all. It's a pretty fucked up video, and it was played like openly on MTV. There was no calls for censorship on it. I think there was like some moral outrage about it, but MTV didn't pull it. Jeremy spoke in class today. Yeah, I thought he killed himself in front of his class. Yeah, I don't know what's implied. I guess it is implied that he stands up and kills himself in front of his class. When I was a kid, I was always confused because the kids were all there are these shots of the kids frozen and they've got blood all over them. And so I knew it was implied that he killed himself, but I didn't know whether or not it was implied that he had also shot his classmates or whatever.
You're saying that it was just himself.
Yeah. I haven't seen the video in a long time, but
Fucking crazy. It killed all the joy out of my best friend's birthday forever, because that's when it happened. It was on his fucking birthday that this whole thing went down.
Oh, the shooting thing? Yeah, that sucks. That's bad luck. I mean, it's good luck he survived, I guess.
I know, he wasn't at the school. Like I said, it was at the neighboring school, but it just fucking...
Well, yeah, something like that happens in the area and everything gets fucked up. Yeah, I don't know. 'Tis a crazy world that we're living in. One time some kid put a fully sharpened pencil up his nose and slammed his face on the desk during a test and went into his brain and killed him. Okay.
A little LA Noir doubt.
Yeah.
Press X for doubt.
Sounds a little Jokerish. So a kid jokered himself? I'm going to go ahead and hit doubt on that one, my friend. Shows a very, 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 very stark lack of creativity. Every mammal species has bullying innate in their behavior. It makes the weak catch up to the rest. In humans, it often turns nerds into tech millionaires, but it's a miserable class of people. I mean, I don't know, dude. There are some people, it's hard to argue with that, and it's hard to argue that you could ever stop it and still have a public school system. People are going to get bullied. Some people are hardened by that, but I also believe that it sets some people on a cycle of fucking failure in their lives, and it turns people into meek capitulators sometimes. So, it's not something that I think is uniform in its success in turning people into successful people, because not everybody that was bullied becomes a fucking tech billionaire or successful at all.
It's just, like you said, kids are developing empathy, so they're fucking assholes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they have to learn that empathy from, their parents, from their teachers, from the society that they live in. But clearly, those that are closest to them, the adults that are closest to them, are most responsible for helping them develop that sense of empathy and develop a sense of right from wrong, the ability to put themselves in another person's shoes. And when that doesn't happen properly, as is so often the case in households, you end up with kids that are just really fucking violent to each other and violent to kids who would never normally be violent. And, can't stand up to bullies or else you get punished same as them. I mean, that's true. Some come to school dressed in trench coats. Most schools have banned that.
The whole, Dylan was just bullied.
Yeah. Most schools have banned coming into school in trench coats. I was bullied and barely have any success. All it does is harm you psychologically. It's BS to think it would actually help people. No, I don't think it's BS. I'm not saying it's the best way for that person to gain self-confidence, but there are people that gain self-confidence in dealing with their bullies. Use it to fuel their fire and create things because of it, and become artists and important thinkers because of it. Maybe not directly just because of that, but because that happened to them as part of their tapestry of life.
Human psychology is fucking complicated. It doesn't work uniformly.
What would you do if your kid was being bullied at school? I would tell the kid that, and you have to understand, I assume that as a parent, I would know my child's nature. Some parents I don't think do. So if I got a call from the school, hey, your kid's suspended for fighting, I would sit the kid down and I would say, what happened? And I would have tried to foster by this point an environment of trust in that child, where they're not punished for doing things that they had no choice. And if the kid tells me a story that, hey, this guy's been picking on me and he punched me and I punched him back, and then he punched me again and then we got taken to the office or whatever, he's not going to be in trouble. She's not going to be in trouble. That's all there is to it. Like, they might be in trouble at school, but they're not going to be in trouble with me. Like, they might get suspended from school, but they're not going to be in trouble at home if they stood up to a bully. What if your kid is the bully? Well, then the action is very fucking different, isn't it? But like I said, I would assume at this point I know the nature of my child. So if I saw bully-like behavior developing in my child, it wouldn't go very far. I would do everything in my power to stop that from happening so that other kids didn't have to experience it. That's part of being an involved parent in my mind, is knowing how your child is, knowing the nature of that child. Is this a child that likes to push other kids around? Is this a child that likes to take things that aren't theirs? If so, intercede. Catch that shit early. You have to, because if you don't, you end up with somebody in fucking school doing that shit. Then you end up with somebody in high school doing with that shit. And then you end up with a child in prison because they never learned that they couldn't physically dominate everybody around them and take what they wanted. It sounds oversimplified, but that's just the fucking path it takes. There's a lot of other fucking extraneous factors along that path. Poverty, drug abuse in the home, sometimes abuse of other kinds in the home, physical, sexual, mental abuse. All these things feed the fire, but that's all part of bad parenting. If you're being an empathetic parent who's on the lookout for your child's nature being correct and sweet and unassuming and not fucking, I'm going to punch you in the face and take it, then you're probably not abusing that child. You're probably looking out for that child. So there's the answer. So many of the answers to social problems that exist, the answer is right at home. It's mom, it's dad, it's grandma, it's grandpa, it's aunt, it's uncle, it's stepdad, it's anybody who's got a hand on this child's actual fucking life that could pull this kid aside and intercede in their life that doesn't when they need it. So many people are failed by their families, and it puts them on a cycle of just kind of ugliness their whole fucking life. Just another reason you should need a license to have a child, prove you're financially and mentally capable and prepared to raise a child properly. I'm all for talking about shit like that, but who decides? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I know that's going to be the conservative argument, but really I got to agree with them on this. When it comes to like a simple biological function that any adult can do, who gets to fucking decide? Like, what panel decides whether or not you're fucking able to raise a child or not? You know, how does it not turn into one of these bureaucratic nightmares where people come in and lie and then are just quietly abusing their children or quietly neglecting their children? You know what I mean? It just doesn't seem like it's workable.
You haven't even defined the correct parenting style.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a handbook. There's no correct parenting style because there's no child that's just like every other goddamn child. Like, every kid is its own person, its own little developing larval human, and requires different things from parents. And parents have to know how to fucking see those needs and fulfill them. They have to have some kind of fucking knowledge, or those kids go without. Whether it's without food or shelter or without the kind of mental, psychological support that they need, or they live in some horrible abusive environment that they can never escape. You know? I hate the idea of the government having control over people's bodily functions. Well, how would they exercise said control? Like
the only way would be like mass sterilization.
Yeah.
Which has happened in the past.
So,
for eugenics reasons.
So they just like sterilize every baby that's born, and then you have to get a license to get the surgery to have it undone. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. And so how are you going to stop two people who shouldn't be fucking from fucking raw and making a kid? And then the woman doesn't, say she's pregnant until she's in the fucking third trimester or some shit. And then what do? You take the kid from them, you put him in an orphanage. Well, this law better come with a fucking whole bunch of other laws governing what goes on in orphanages and how they're run and shit. Foster care and orphanages are where a lot of abuse and neglect take place in this country. So you see, and when you look at the fucking contributing factors to this problem, you see what a Herculean feat it is to get there. So I can agree with you. I do think that there should be some kind of process by which you prove that you are financially and mentally stable enough to raise a child. But it has to come with all that other shit that's never going to fucking happen.
It's extremely rare for them to intercede in the hospital or whatever before they're going to take home the baby.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know. Like, who does it?
People will probably just start having babies at home.
Yeah.
Like, not registering them or whatever.
You can do that. You can hire a fucking private, nursemaid or whatever they call them, midwife.
Yeah.
Have them come to your house and supervise the birth. And look, it's not the safest way to do things. Mm-hmm. Sometimes things happen during birth that are dangerous for both baby and mother. Where it's nice to have a team of fucking professionals there that can see that shit coming and intercede. But If you have a normal birth, you can just squirt one out at home. Who's going to stop people from doing that? You know, it's just, there's no... That's why I always fall on the edge of like, let's try and intercede where we can as a society. We can't make sure nobody is ever born to a shitty parent again. What we can try and do is make sure that shitty people aren't made anymore by being fucked off by the system and by being raised by shitty parents. So we can start going after some of the unaddressed problems that are behind a lot of the social ills in this country, namely the ongoing mental health crisis, the ongoing homelessness crisis, the ongoing drug abuse and addiction crisis.
Fucking classroom sizes where they can't intercede because they don't know their own kids.
Right. And the ongoing educational crisis in our public and private schools in this country, where there seems to be no way to ensure that kids even get a workable education because it's just so underfunded and overpopulated with children that teachers can't even do their jobs. Never mind the fact that they're hamstrung by legislation, because they are. Common Core is all about handing teachers a script to read to their entire room full of 40 kids, as if they're not dealing with 40 individuals who need 40 different types of teaching, which is impossible for one teacher to do, which is why class sizes should be less than half that. When I was in school, you know how many people were in my first grade class? 12. I was one of 12. Second grade class, one of 12 or 13. Those were class sizes when I was in school. 40-1 is not uncommon in a lot of districts now, including the one I used to work for. You know how many kids were in my graduating class in 8th grade, split between 3 different teachers? There were 50 kids that graduated in my 8th grade year. And those 50 kids were split between 3 teachers. Take a peek in an American classroom now.
If they're open, but...
Yeah. Just saying, if you've got a kid, go visit their class. Ask their teacher if you can sit in on a fucking lesson. They have to let you. They have to schedule you a day where you can come and observe. They can't deny you it. So, guess what? It's like 25 to 30 a class when I was in high school in 2014. Yep. When I left my last job in 2015 to start, this crazy life, it was not uncommon for 35-1 or above, 36-1, 37-1, meaning 37 children to 1 teacher. That's the lingo that's used internally, is X to X. It's always X to 1. And teachers want it to be something like 20. And it has crept up since I left that job to something more like 40 in a lot of school districts. So that is something that we, when I say we, could intercede in. It's not an immediate fix, but if kids are getting outreach in school and funneled down a path that doesn't include drugs and alcohol and the hopelessness of having a child at 16, they have a path to higher education. They have a path to a job and a good life in this country, which I think everybody should have a path. Otherwise, what the fuck is the point of having the country if people are shut out from that? I'm not talking about being rich. I'm talking about making enough so that you can get married and have a kid if that's what you want, or go on a fucking vacation a couple times a year if you're single, or whatever the fuck, just make a living and not have to worry about being in debt and not have to worry about fucking going under if you miss a paycheck or miss a day at work. Just to be comfortable enough to relax a little bit. Human beings need that, it turns out. Human beings need to kick their fucking feet up once in a while and just do things that are for their own fucking benefit. read a book, play a video game, sit and binge a fucking TV show, watch a movie.
Like fucking tennis or some shit.
Yeah, go outside. I'm just talking about shit that I like to do. Go outside and play a sport. Build something with your hands. Raise some chickens. Raise some ducks like Lord of Duck does. You know, everybody should have the ability to have a little something that isn't work. You know how many people are denied mostly that because they have to work 2-3 jobs to make ends meet? They get to enjoy their home as a place where they scarf down a meal and sleep.
Yeah, like if you factor in commutes plus like some places doing 12-hour shifts, it's like especially when I was doing night shift at Amazon, it was like a 12-hour night shift, so people didn't see their families at all.
Yep. Now I have to say something. These are always uncomfortable, but I have to speak to one of my specters. Asbestos fingers, your asbestos jokes are never funny. And the next time you make an unfunny asbestos joke, or the last one wasn't even a joke, it was just like, you just have to mention asbestos randomly. I don't know if this is a tick that you have, but it's gone on enough times now where I've gotten annoyed by it, so the next time I see it, you're going to be defrocked. Because I'm tired of paying attention to what you have to say only to read some fucking stupid asbestos thing that I'm not going to read out loud. So, there you go. Sorry, it's uncomfortable, but I find directness is the best way to deal with shit like this. No, he's not defrocked. Just saying that if he can't fucking not be that guy anymore, then he's going to get defrocked. And that'll be that. No harm, no foul. Tyrant Paul is not pleased by the gesture. I don't know that tick. Yeah, I don't know. There you go.
It's a mark of a good specter.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't usually have to do that, but when something's bugging me, I gotta fucking say something about it. So there you go. You're a good specter, asbestos fingers. Sorry I had to be so harsh with you, but it has to be done. You see? No one is safe. I mean, anybody that thinks that they've got a wrench and they get to do whatever the fuck they want. I mean, I don't think any of my specters think that, but like, I mean, come on. I'm God here. I'm Zeus, and I wield the ultimate lightning bolt. Well, Chelsea's safe as long as Chelsea doesn't do something asshole-ish. Like if Chelsea, and she would never do this, but if Chelsea started like randomly banning everybody like Ayla Mao did, she'd get her wrench yanked. I mean, she's above the law in a lot of ways that asbestos fingers isn't. Because I happen to know, and on top of knowing, really enjoy the company of Chelsea and consider her a close friend in my personal non-internet life. So she gets a lot of privileges that you guys don't get. But she still has to abide. Like, if she came in here and was just a total fucking dick and was doing shit that was disrupting the fucking flow and shit, then it had to go. You know, the wrench would have to come off. It just happens that way. The only permanent wrench is the one that I wield.
I'm gonna perma wrench.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you wield we're married.
Yeah.
So your wrench is but an extension of mine.
Yeah.
We wield Mjolnir together.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the blue plebs in here.
No, I had to come to your defense, Lord of Duck, because you got confused with the other duck.
Oh, there was another duck?
Yeah.
Oh. I could never imagine Chelsea coming in the chat and spamming the N-word repeatedly. I don't think it... No. I mean, she would never do shit like that, which is why, like, it's just It's under those extreme circumstances. Like if Chelsea had some kind of a fucking meltdown and came in here and was banning everybody for no reason, I would take her wrench away and then I'd talk to her. And if it was just a thing, I would give it back to her. And if not, then, she can't have a wrench no more. But that would never happen. Like, that's not Chelsea's nature. You see, you remember we were talking earlier when I said that you should know your child's nature? I have a feeling that I'm pretty well acquainted with Chelsea's nature. I know her as a person. I've had a lot of long talks with Chelsea. She's helped me out a lot. I've been very open with her and honest with her about things, and she's helped me through some shit. And she's done the same with me. We're friends. We're buds. We're smoke partners. I have an esteem for Chelsea. I know her nature, and it is not in her nature to be belligerent or disruptive or anything other than a welcome presence wherever she fucking goes. That's just the way she is. Chelsea's a sweetheart with fangs and claws. Like, Chelsea, if you are good by her, this is not me trying to fucking psychoanalyze Chelsea, but this is how I know Chelsea. If you are good by her and by those that are hers, so what I mean by that is her family, TJ, Scotty, Taylor, their parents, her parents, people, her friends. If you're good by her people, then she is one of the fucking most amazing people, the nicest, sweetest, most understanding type of person that you could go to with any fucking old thing in the world. She has that kind of nature about her where you can very easily tell her shit that you normally probably wouldn't tell somebody you knew, because she's my friend. I would go to Chelsea with shit that I would probably only go to my wife with. You know what I mean? And there's a limited amount of friends that I have that are like that. And the reason for that is because that's how she is. She's just a very accepting person. But that comes with a caveat, as well it should. You have to be good by her and good by her husband and her family and her friends. You shit on one of those people and you are dead to Chelsea. Capital fucking D-E-A-D, dead. And I wouldn't want to be you. Chelsea can't help but be a real one. She had a tough fucking upbringing, and she's come through a lot of shit in her fucking life. And she's a toughie because of it. And she's not a toughie because she wants to be or because she flexes or thinks she has to be. But she's defensive of people that she loves. And if you're on that list and somebody crosses you, they may as well fucking walk off a plank as far as she's concerned, because she's done with them. And that's the way it is. And I try my best to be the same fucking way. I love Chelsea, though. You'd never guess by her demeanor, but she's assertive. Oh, yeah. She doesn't put up with bullshit. She doesn't put up... If she feels like she's being put in a position where she's being taken advantage of in any way, she doesn't put up with that shit. She just says some shit. And she's not about to be disrespected or allow somebody to be disrespected. She demands the same thing that she gives other people, which is always an open ear and an empathetic fucking nod. You have any emergency supplies just in case? If I did, why would I fucking talk about it and shit? I'm not a prepper. Here's some characters for money. Thank you. What are those? DKKs. Denmark? Kroners?
The only D country I can think of.
Yeah. Where are DKKs? Donkey Kong Cash. Sick! Donkey Kong coins. Oh, yeah. DKKs, yeah. Yeah, I remember those. You had to collect those in Donkey Kong Country.
Was there any game where you have to get every single coin?
There probably are games like that, but I've never played one. Most of the time, when I was a kid...
Your personal impetus, where you feel like you
Right. It's like you can decide, and they'll put other little collectibles. Like Sonic was like that, and a lot of other games are, where it's like there's these special letters hanging, and if you get them, and if you get all the letters to spell out the word, you get a special bonus or whatever the fuck. But you don't have to get them. You know, there were a lot of that sprinkled around, but most of them you don't have to get every ring. There are some that you do. I'm the same way though. Did you ever play the N64, or was that before your time? That's before your time.
If you played it before you graduated, it was before.
Oof. Okay, you're right. I mean, literally before. I'm old. Anyway, Robbing the Cradle. No, on N64 there was a game called Banjo-Kazooie where in that game you did have to go around and get all the collectibles. That was how you unlocked other areas and shit. So collectathon type of games. Yeah, I have 2 ducks. They have ducklings this year. Cool. You should post pictures.
Did you see that?
Sorry if you've answered before, but why didn't you guys continue with the annual DFF awards? To be quite honest with you, I think we just got caught up in the cycle of making shows the way we do, and we just kind of forgot. Like, I remember, like, we've done 3 years of DFF now, so technically there should be 3 years of DFF awards, and there's only 1. We only did it the first year. It's not for lack of, like, us having enjoyed it. It was just more a piece of content that we felt like wouldn't play as well the second time, maybe. But
you're also the ultimate champion. So.
That's true. I'm for there never being another DFF awards, because if there aren't, I'm the ultimate champion of the DFF awards. I got favorite host. I got best fucking episode that year. That's the 2 biggies. Best host and best episode. That's the biggies, man. I walked with both of them motherfuckers. It's like going and winning 2 Oscars for the same movie. You just hold them up like. But yeah, no, I honestly just think it's not that interesting of a show for us to make. And we really, as the time have gone on, I won't speak for the other guys. I won't put that in their head. But for me, I've really had to start to focus on, like, what am I interested in? Way more. I used to just go with a whim. Like, I'd hear a good idea and I'd go, you know what, I'll research that up. And I used to make some good episodes, but like anymore, part of doing the show for me has to be, like, I have to have fun presenting it. I have to have fun learning about it. And so it's become challenging for me to, you know what I mean, laser in on things because I've covered so many things. Challenging, mind you, not impossible. Did I miss a...
It didn't go far.
I know you're not TJ's keeper, but... Oh, hold on. But his Jimmy Dore rants have really rubbed me the wrong way recently. He keeps complaining he's sick of seeing him everywhere, yet keeps making videos about him. I don't, whatever. Go talk to TJ about it. I'm sorry. Thank you for the $10, but, I don't know what to tell you. Like, he has an opinion you don't like. Don't watch his opinion. If the video title is about something that you don't want to hear his opinion on, then don't watch it. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Because I can't do shit about what TJ says any more than he can do shit about what I say. Demi Jor, dude. Demi Jor and Bo Jiden. What topics are you not into that the other guys are? I'm into pretty much every topic we've ever done. I try and go to every topic with a fresh face.
Probably wrestling is the one that,
Yeah, I mean, we recently did a show. Well, I guess it's revealing a show that people don't know is coming. But we did a show where one of the themes was wrestling, and that's all I'll reveal about it. And both of these dudes are way bigger wrestling fans than I am or was. But I was a wrestling fan as a kid. I know a lot of the people that were involved. I ended up knowing, and I ended up having a good time on the episode. It's just an episode where I'm not the dude that was ever going to shine during the episode. And so I take a bit of a side seat while the guys kind of quarterback that episode because they know more about it than me. And that happens to them too. You know, there are episodes where it's like maybe something that me and Scotty know a lot about, but TJ's on it. In fact, that happened recently. It wasn't a show, but me and Scotty on one of the grease traps had this hour-and-a-half long conversation about football. FUBA. Now, I'm not a big, watch football all the time guy, but I watched it for 20 years of my life, so I know everything there is to know about football. Not everything there is to know, but I know about football enough to sit down and have a long FUBA conversation, right? TJ, he watches FUBA, but he doesn't really know what's going on in FUBA when it comes down to the minutia, nor does he really care. He doesn't watch it for that. For him, it's just kind of a go, 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 win thing, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm probably of that same thing.
Sure.
I still don't understand downs.
Sure. And for me, the rules of the game are ingrained into my fucking just basic knowledge. So I can watch a game. I know exactly what's going on. I know some of the fucking trivia about the different formations that are being run and shit. I know a little bit about FUBA. And so me and Scotty just got in, because that's kind of what we do on the Grease Trap, is we get caught in these conversations. And we got into a conversation that was pretty exclusionary of TJ, unfortunately. Because TJ doesn't know a whole lot about FUBA. But it didn't bother him at all. He just kind of kicked back and let me and Scotty riff for a while. And then eventually the topic moved off of FUBA and he jumped back in, And then we ended the Grease Trap. But that Grease Trap, if you look at it, is mostly me and Scotty just yakking about FUBA. And there's times like that for all of us, I think, as performers, is our interests are similar but not uniform. So, TJ's got interests that I don't agree with in terms of entertainment stuff or politics or whatever the fuck. Scotty's got interests in things that I can't match the interest in. He's into certain video game franchises that I never really got into very heavily. But we have a lot of crossover, but, there are places where he could sit and talk for an hour about something, and I know about 15 minutes worth, And that's those types of episodes where, Scotty and TJ know more about a subject than I do. I try and kick back and look for opportunities to crack a joke here and there and jump in, every once in a while, but not try and be, hello, my baby. I don't try and shine on episodes where I've got no real passion or basis. I just try and be kind of a funny ride along, And we all have to do that. Morbid, but who will die first, Joe or Bernie? I mean, I don't know, dude. You think
Joe's probably healthier physically. He's probably in better shape physically.
But I mean, they both had major medical problems. Like Joe had a big old aneurysm, or a couple of them.
Was a lot older than Bernie's heart attack was.
Yeah, Bernie had a heart attack on the campaign trail. We can't forget that. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess I would hate to bet against Bernie, but I guess if you put a gun to my head and I was forced to bet my life savings on one or the other, I'd put it on Bernie, probably. I think Joe is way more physically active than Bernie is, and that probably makes all the fucking difference,
Had money for longer.
That's true. Bernie has a will of fire, yeah.
But he doesn't have that fucking Walter Reed helicopter that Biden now has.
Yep. Cornette knows how and when everyone will die. Madame Pauloni. I like that, dude. Madame Pauloni. You corrected it, but you didn't need to. That sounded good. I had a dream the other day that someone borrowed my legs to see what pain felt like. They immediately wanted to take back, but by the time they realized they hated my legs, I'd ran off with theirs. That's a cool dream. I've never got to trade them. Wish I could do that in a dream. Rip somebody's spine out and steal it from them and give them mine and be like, aha! That'd be sweet. who remembers Paul's reaction when Bernie hit the bag, dude. That shit was so funny. He was so great. He hit that bag and it popped him in the face, and he played it up. He went, whoa! And I was like, oh my God, he's so likable and lovable and wonderful and grandpa-like. Oh, Bernie.
The spine is a nightmare because evolution decided to go, let's walk upright and then grow the brains, not the other way around.
That's true. True. Cannot dispute. We're screwed from the start. Yes. So embrace being screwed. Be my grandpa, Bernie. Yeah, dude. Oh, man, if I get to trade the grandpa that I got to grow up with for Bernie, I'd do it in a heartbeat, man.
He's not as cool as my grandpa, though. My grandpa that was shirtless 24/7.
Oh, yeah. No, I wouldn't trade if I were you. You got a cool-ass grandpa. I got kind of a dirtbag grandpa.
Dude, I think I just became completely desensitized to nipples because his were out.
Yeah, dude. Well, fuck him. He's the king of the castle.
Yeah.
He can wear what he wants in the goddamn castle. He's shirtless, goddammit. I've seen pictures of him, too. He was right to display that shit. He proudly had that gray chest hair out there.
Yeah.
Not man titties, but just enough there that there was a little hang to it, and he looked comfortable. Above all, comfortable, and he deserved it. He deserved it. Every old man deserves his comfort. The vibes of that wilderness are impeccable. Yeah, I really do appreciate the ambiance of nature where I've lived in these last couple of places. I was happy to discover that once it stopped being as cold, these frogs came out here. They're not the same type of frogs that we had in Louisiana. They're not that Louisiana species of leopard frog that have a very plaintive wail to them. Very different from this. These are standard frogs and toads. Yeah. I was very happy to see how not only how indigenous they are to where I moved to, but how plentiful they are in that area.
I wonder what their water body is.
Who the fuck knows, man? I know there's no lakes real near us. I don't think they necessarily, not all frogs need a body of water. They can subsist puddle to puddle, and I'm sure there's irrigation. We kind of live out in the country-ish, so I'm sure people are growing stuff out here. So there's probably irrigation ditches that run to some of the farmland that's out a little farther. And who knows, man? Who knows? I notice you avoid speciating them when you describe them. Is this to prevent curious inquisitors from pinning you down on the basis of frog?
I think we just don't know.
Yeah, I just don't know. I had to find out what kind of frogs lived in Louisiana, and I found out that they were leopard frogs. I haven't really looked into what exactly the species of these frogs are. But I've had a few of them hop up on my fucking porch, and I've handled them, and they're not unlike a lot of the frogs that existed where I grew up. But I don't know what the species of those frogs are either. Have you ever raised a newborn kitten? No, I have never personally raised a newborn kitten.
Yeah, I mean, I can't claim to either. Cricket was 5 weeks when I got him. Maybe 6.
Yeah. Well, he was bottle fed, though. Somebody raised him.
Yeah.
For sure. He's just a big old sweet boy. Paul, take my children and raise them as your own. No, thank you. Hard pass. Those are your little bundles of need and fucking money and all the shit that you're going to have to go through for the next X amount of years, dude.
You're happy enough being an uncle.
Yeah. I can barely handle that shit. You know what I mean? I'm a good uncle, I guess, because the kids like me, but man, I gotta take a break, you know? About an hour or two with the kids, you know? I'm ready to go when I visit. I don't know how people do it, to be honest with you. I actually stand in awe of a lot of parents because I look at my life, and I know not everybody's lives are the same, and, you know, maybe people are more equipped than I am, but I just cannot imagine a child in my life. I really can't. I guess I can imagine it, but I don't know. I've so gotten myself in the mode where I'm so interested in just improving what I have that the idea of adding something like a child to the mix is just unthinkable to me. I would look at it as such a setback to my medium-term goals, which is, you know, I've talked to you guys about some of these goals. I want to be able to find a place that me and Amelia are mutually happy in, that we feel like, man, this is a place where we really want to live. That's one of my medium-term goals. Another is I want to travel. You know, I don't make a ton of money, but I make enough money that if I'm careful with it and save it up, I can take some trips. You know, I can go on a couple trips a year and see some of the things that I've always wanted to see, assuming, you know, the COVID shit is under control, of course. Those are my medium-term goals for my life. And if there was a child injected into that, better push those to long-term goals / probably never happening goals.
Retirement goals.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't want that for my life. Kudos to anybody who does. But that ain't me. It ain't me. It ain't me. I don't want to have a son, no. I've got 2 sons already. That's enough.
Yeah. And we worry about them constantly.
Yeah, but we don't have to. Well, speaking of, where's...
He's in.
Oh, he's in.
Yeah.
We've got fur sons.
Yep. Well, not constantly, but it's like we're immediately concerned if we can't place them within 5 minutes of thinking about them.
Yeah. You know what the great thing about not having kids is, too? Nobody ever asks you, oh my God, I'm so busy. Can you please change little Joni or little Jakey or whatever the fuck? You never have to scoop shit out of an ass crack. Because people just assume, like, oh, that's right. Paul has no children. He doesn't know how to scoop poop out of an ass crack.
You have been asked to hold babies, though, which is...
I'm fine with holding babies.
Yeah.
I don't like them when they're in floppy mode.
Yeah.
When they're like newborns and then like they hand them to you and they're just like, and they've got that neck. But like as soon as they're able to like hold their own neck up and look at you in the eye and you realize that like you're a human, I'm cool with babies. I'll hold a baby all fucking day as long as it's chill. Like I got no problem with babies. It's when they get older that they start to get really like, because they want to have fun with you. And the way that pretty much every kid has fun is to ask you silly questions constantly. Yeah. And eventually I run out of steam being able to sit around and answer silly questions and try and be funny about it. And react to peekaboos over one shoulder. And
you get the deep question.
Oh, no. Dude, I defer those. I go ask your mom. I'll answer the deep questions, honestly, when those kids are in, like, college. When they're emancipated and they're no longer living under that roof and they call me with some deep question, I won't defer to mom if that happens. But as it stands right now, it ain't me. Nope. I ain't your daddy, and I ain't having it.
What about my sisters? Would you view them more as, like, an uncle views kids, or do you view them as your sister-in-laws?
Because of the age difference, I have a feeling like that I would end up treating them probably naturally more like I would be an uncle. Mm-hmm. And age appropriately. You know, you see I treat my eldest niece differently than I treat the youngest.
Yeah.
You know, and so I know their ages and shit, so I wouldn't, you know, I'm pretty good with kids. I know when they're bored, and I know when to shut up because they're not into what you're doing, and let them go do their own thing, and, you know. So yeah, I'd probably, like, just as a function of the age difference between us, look at them as more like nieces, but as a technicality, they are my sisters-in-law.
Yep, and now they're fucking aunts.
And they're aunts, too, of a bunch of fucking kids. Holy fuck, man. What have we done? We've created an abomination. It's a family tree that's growing upside down. The roots are all up here, and the branches are growing that way. What the fuck have we done? No. What keeps mankind alive? Fucking.
Yep.
I mean, I hate to be crazy. I hate to be reductive about it, but that really is what's kept us alive all this long, is our just insatiable desire to fuck and become ever larger in population, you know? We just can't stop doing that fucking. Fucking allowed enough of us to exist that eventually some crazy geniuses were born, and they were able to invent all the things that let us farm the land so that we could do some more fucking. You know what I mean? You're borderline asexual. That's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but you're in a very small minority of human beings.
Well, like, my best friend is in, like, an asexual marriage.
Once again,
Yeah.
different strokes for different folks. Tiny minority of human beings. Most human beings are out there trying to fuck. And that's just the way it is. You're not going to stop them. They're going to do it. I'll never understand the mindset of excessive breeders. I don't think I'll understand it either, but it is what it is. Maybe I will treat your sisters like sisters-in-law.
Yeah.
Call them. I got a problem. It's something I want to run by you. I'm sorry to bug you. Is it too late? Are you still in school? No. Imagine giving birth 10 times. No. Imagine giving birth 1 time. You're a dude, Jawan.
Yeah.
Imagine giving birth 1 fucking time. No, thank you. Nuh-uh. 10? Paul, I'm interested if you think, apart from The Dark Knight, if you think Christopher Nolan is overrated. I think there was a while there where Christopher Nolan was overrated as a director, but nowadays I don't really think he is. He's not a big name, you know. He's not big enough, I don't think, anymore to really call him overrated. And I like some of the stuff that Christopher Nolan has made. So, I think he occupies about the space on the totem pole of respect that he deserves.
Did you have a beer with him? That's a real question.
Sure. But see, that's tough with me because I would have a beer with goddamn near almost anybody.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, if it was honestly and in good faith, and we were just going to sit across each other, and that's all I'm agreeing to, is to sit and have a conversation and a beer with you, I'll drink with pretty much fucking anybody. Not just for the drink, but for the conversation. I've always been that way. Like, I have a feeling that a lot of people feel like they're not really listened to. So I'll listen to pretty much fucking anybody. Now, I can't give all my time to that, so I can't set up a listening station. And it requires being in person, too. You can't have a beer with somebody over Skype. So that's another fucking limiting factor. But when it comes to people, I'll have a beer with you. I don't care what you've done. I don't care what you are or who you are or what other people have said about you. What's the harm in having a beer and a conversation? You know? At the end of the day, everyone just wants to be heard. I don't know if everyone does, but I think a lot of people do. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yes, dude, I know how to read the news. Thank you for being the fucking town crier, Donnie Slime. Extra, extra, read all about it. Paul's ego. Have you heard about this giant 3-day headline that's been going on for 3 days now? Paul's ego, extra, extra.
It's like you covered it on Flash Friday, didn't you?
It's like, yes, town crier Donnie Slime 21. I've fucking heard about the stonks. All right, bro. Thank you. They're always so bad at it too, like the people that do the extra shit. It's always like at least like fucking, if I do a stream on a day something happens, it's probably like 1 time out of 10 that somebody catches me. Like that MF Doom shit.
Yeah.
That came out while I was streaming. The Capitol riots started going down while I was live here in front of you guys, and people were asking me to comment on it as I'm sitting out here on my porch. You know what I mean? But most times when people do that extra shit, they're telling me shit that's like 3 days old. Oh my God, Paul, did you hear about blah, 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 blah.
You had a pretty epic one when Kobe died. The whole Trump, Kobe.
Oh yeah, Kobe, Trump. Yeah, the song I wrote. Yeah, that whole day I started a Highdeology. I was in a bad mood too. That was during what I like to call the hard times, the bad times. There were some bright spots in my life, but not many. I was having a lot of mental problems, so I came to work just pissed off a lot. And sit down and do a Highdeology, and you motherfuckers in this chat were just like, I'd already looked at the goddamn news that day because we were meeting to do a flash ride. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And everybody in the thing was like, did you hear about Trump? Did you hear about Kobe? Did you hear Kobe died? Did you hear Trump said? Did you hear what Trump said? Did you hear what Trump did? Did you hear Trump stop this? Did you hear no, Kobe died? Dude, Kobe. And I would go, yeah, I heard it. And then like a minute later, somebody, dude, did you hear about fucking Kobe? Oh, rip. And I'm like, yep. Dude, did you hear what Trump said? Yeah, I heard it, dude. I heard the soundbite like 6 hours ago. Oh man, it's fucking crazy. 1 minute later, did you hear Kobe died? It's like, oh. That whole fucking stream, it drove me ape shit. It's like that entire stream was people that were like, oh my God, Paul's live. I'm going to click on it and be his town crier. Da-ding, da-ding, da-ding. I was working that night, and some dude came to the counter crying about Kobe. And when I gave him his drink, he put his hand on mine and said, for Kobe, bro.
You're a bartender, Marshall?
Yeah, I think Marshall must have been slinging drank at that time, because that sounds like a bar story to me. Paul, you hear that the Titanic sank? Oh my God, really? That the unsinkable ship has sunk? Tell me that at least Molly Brown survived. I heard that she was on the maiden voyage. Please tell me that unsinkable Molly Brown survived it.
Wait, it was soda at a taco joint and someone was that?
It was soda at a taco joint? Bro, he must have come in after the bar then. Because you were dealing with somebody that was on the sauce, dude. On the sauce. Nobody straight up sober clasped the hand of the taco guy and was like, for Kobe, bro. He was drunk. He had been drinking or something else. Oh, I believe it, dude. Yeah, I worked fast food for a long time, and let me tell you, drunk people, especially in the evening time shifts, but sometimes all goddamn day, dime a dozen, bro. The amount of people actually that are drunk in the AM, when they look like they're dressed to go to work and shit, is fucking staggering.
Did you get some at Starbucks?
Oh, yeah. People would walk up when I was working the fucking register, and you know how it is when somebody's had a bit of the sauce. It's on their breath. You know? And it's like, phew, and it's like 6 a.m. And he's like, yeah, give me a double espresso and a butter croissant. You know, and you know this person is on their way to go get in a car and go to work, and you're just like, woof. all day, too. Pretty crazy. Very rarely, dude, but yes, sometimes they'll have their fucking children with them come in and you'll smell it on their breath and you're like, well, hopefully the coffee sobers you up a little bit. Here you go. Drink all of that before you leave, please. Go catch a frog. I mean, I caught one the other night. I showed him to you guys. I didn't catch him. He just got lost up here on our big porch, so I was helping him get back to the grass, back to the wilderness.
Yeah.
Probably fed him to a cat, honestly.
I don't know. I haven't seen them around lately. It's been cold.
With the cats?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been cold and rainy. They've been hiding a lot. You should cook a frog. Nope. You should cook a frog, motherfucker. My old neighbor used to set an alarm clock for 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning and get up and have a drink. Yeah, well, alcoholism is a thing. Absolutely, most of it comes from tips, but my dad talks about guys making upwards of $600 a night. Well, you're talking about bars, yeah. Bartenders in the right kind of bars can make a lot of money on tips, but take the rest of that conversation to DMs now. Ain't nobody talking about bartenders' tips.
Yeah, we already established that Marshall was not a bartender, like I assumed.
Yeah, I assumed too. He was.
What is it? He was like so concerned too. Like, were you underage when Kobe died? Is that?
No. No, I don't think so. No, he was just, I think, underscoring that he was at a taco joint when it happened and not a bar. It's like, man, that's fucked up. A real drinker just blacks out every night and then can have another drink whenever they come to. Yeah, a real fucking winner. I want tacos now. Me too.
Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10.
How bad do I want tacos?
Yeah.
6.5.
Yeah. I don't know. It might be too late.
Is it too late? How late is it? What?
It's 10.
Oh God. Yeah, it might be too late. Although, it might not be.
Let's see. We can check.
Tacos.
10:30
Burritos.
Taco Bell closes, so
That's iffy. What about the Jack and the Crack? They make the blasphemous tacos.
Yeah. You want the blasphemy tacos?
Yes. Yes, I do. I want blasphemy tacos.
Alright, I'll get you some black.
That's all I need, though. I don't want no extra dodextra, nothing. Just give me 6 blasphemy tacos. That means 3 orders of them.
Yeah.
Because they come in the 2-pack. I want 6 blasphemy tacos, and that's it. The horrifying, goddamn Lovecraftian cosmic nightmare that is the Taco Bell taco. It is disgusting, but I gotta tell you guys, I established a taste for this piece of fast food when I was but a wee stoner. Mm-hmm. They are definitely stoner tacos.
Is that all you want? Is just tacos then?
That's it.
Okay.
If you want to get something, babe,
I'm gonna get some egg rolls.
get whatever you want, girl. Get whatever you want. Taco Bell is crap. Yeah, but whatever. I'm an American. I've had this talk with you guys, man. Crap is delicious. American crap is an acquired taste, but once you've acquired it, you can't give it up. I know people go like, "Oh, their cheese is just not even cheese. It's just processed vegetable oil and blah, 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 blah." And it's just like, whatever. You're right. But guess what else it is when it's melted over a big old sizzling fucking patty and put on a bun with some mustard and some lettuce and a big old rounded tomato. It's fucking delicious is what it is. And anybody that turns their nose up and says, "Oh my God, I can't," like, that's one of the things about Gordon Ramsay that I don't like. Mm-hmm. Is that he'll eat some shit on like that Kitchen Nightmares shit, where he goes into a restaurant For those of you that haven't watched the show, if there's anybody out there, so that you're not confused, quick synopsis. Gordon Ramsay goes into a restaurant that's having problems. They're losing money, and he goes in there, and it's his job to find out why. And the first thing he always does at the beginning of every episode is he walks into the restaurant and he orders off their menu. Some random selections of shit off their menu. And then he tastes it. And 9 times out of 10, it's total shit, and he only eats one bite of it, if that. But every once in a while, something will be put in front of him, and I look at it and I go like, that looks pretty fucking good.
Yeah. Pizzas, he's very picky about.
Yeah, like he'll it's like I watched one time he sat down in front of a pizza, and it wasn't like there's sometimes he sits down in front of a pizza and it's a problem. But he sat down in front of a pizza and he was like, look at the grease. And I'm just like, it's got sausage and pepperoni on it, and it was baking in an oven forever. Like, what did you want him to do? Like, take a sponge to the top of your... Like, pizzas have grease on them, you big fucking ninny. You know, and I'm just like, whatever. And I kind of hate when he gets all pretentious and spits out something that you know fucking tasted hella good when he put it in his mouth.
Yeah.
Because I don't care who you are. Like, a reasonably greasy but well-done slice of fucking pepperoni sausage pizza with all the sauce and the little bit of grease on it, that tastes fucking good. I don't care who you are. That's delicious shit.
The little tables are for, the little plastic tables.
Right. You know, I just... I'm a very unpretentious eater. I have to be, because I'm a very picky eater. And so I like the simple things in life. We had dinner like at like 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock or some shit, somewhere around there when we finished shooting today. When was it? Like 4?
It was probably 4. Yeah.
So we had lunch basically after I finished shooting today. And you made a little salad and some tortellini. And it was totally like just good, simple food. And that's the type of shit that I fucking love. It was unpretentious and it was good and like...
It was frozen.
It was frozen from a fucking bag. You didn't like sit there and like make the dough and make all the little individual tortellinis. You made up some fucking frozen tortellini. You put a good pesto sauce on it. You made a nice little mixed fucking salad and put some dressing on it. And that was delicious. And I would never turn my fucking nose up at a meal like that. Like, that's the type of shit I like. And to bring it all back home, as a stoner when I was young, sitting around just like I am now, in the later hours after the parents had gone to bed, there were very few options for us at night. And one of those options happened to be Taco Bell.
Or Jack in the Box.
And another of those options happened to be Jack in the Box. Both of which were open 24 hours when I was a kid. Now,
I think Taco Bell is just closed because they probably don't have staff.
Who knows? I mean, I know a lot of them close up now at night. It just depends. When I grew up, 24-hour Taco Bell. When I grew up, 24-hour Jack in the Box. So those were your two choices at night. And Jack in the Box tacos, I'm telling you, man, I was introduced to them by another stoner. And they were so good when I was high that I immediately developed a taste for them. And now I love them. And I just want more of them. Made poor man's pizza today earlier. Canned biscuit dough rolled out onto a cookie sheet with sauce, cheese, and toppings. Dude, that's good shit.
That's not the poorest man's. The poorest man's pizza we saw was that bagel with...
Dude, you can go even poorer than that. A slice of bread.
Yeah.
I've made those when I was a kid, just like because I was hungry and I wanted a snack. Get a slice of bread, throw it in the toaster, spread some fucking sauce, cheese, and put a couple pepperonis on it, put it in the microwave and get all that melted and then eat it.
I'm thinking about that old guy with the YouTube channel where he like...
Feature man.
Where he goes down each individual penny that each thing costs.
Yeah. There's this old dude on YouTube named Feature Man who basically his nut is like he's a bachelor and he makes food that's real cheap for people on a fixed income, and he kind of like walks you through how you can make these big meals for really cheap.
But
And
he finally got monetized, and then he treated himself to like a half-pound hamburger.
yeah, that's true. And none of the stuff he makes is ever pretentious. A lot of it relies on canned goods and frozen goods and stuff that you can get cheap. And he makes up decent meals out of it. And I like watching him because it's unpretentious. He's not one of these people that are like, and then I shave ever so delicately the truffle into the truffle fondue, and I want to continue whipping. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't taste delicious, but I mean, come on, man. Sometimes a slice of American cheese and some turkey and some lettuce on a couple pieces of bread with some fucking mustard and mayo, that just hits the fucking spot. And there's nothing pretentious about that. Just a sandwich, just a lunch meat sandwich, you know? And I hate people that are like all exclusionary of the bottom rung of food, like it's not, like it doesn't taste good. Like millions of Americans got fat eating food that just tastes like swill. It doesn't. It tastes good. That's why we got fat on it. It's covered in cheese and sauces and greasy, salty meat. These are all things that taste really fucking good.
Remember you were telling that guy about the secret to American apple pie, pouring all that butter in?
Yeah.
Apples.
Dude, that's the secret. I make a fucking pretty banging apple pie. I'm not going to lie to you. Maybe I should make one of these days. All you got to do is get me 2 pie crusts, and I'll do it. Because the secret to the American apple pie, I'll tell you guys the recipe right now. It's so fucking simple. So fucking simple. You get your apples peeled and sliced. You put them in the pie plate with the pre-made pie dough, if that's the way you want to go with it. You know, you got to roll out the pie dough. Put them in the pie plate, heap them up pretty nice. You got a mixture of cinnamon and sugar sitting over here, right? What you're going to do is you're going to sprinkle that liberally all over the top of those apples and turn them around a little bit so they all get coated in that cinnamon sugar mixture, right? Step 1 is done. Step 2, you're going to take a whole ass stick of butter and you're going to melt that, and you're going to add more cinnamon and sugar to the melted butter. You're going to mix that in. And then you're going to take the other pie crust and cut it into strips. And you're going to make a cross hatch across the top. So lines going across one way, then lines going across. So you got a nice checker pattern. You're going to make it so where there's gaps so that the pie can breathe and cook and those apples can let off steam and shit. And then you take that whole stick of melted butter with cinnamon and sugar in it, and you pour that shit over the top of the pie, and then you put it in the oven and bake it off. And you'll have the best fucking apple pie you've ever eaten. Because all of that butter will soak into those apples, help break them down. Soak into the pie dough and caramelize it on the bottom so it's nice and crisp and sweet. And it's just awesome. And that's simple fucking that's simple to do. Anybody can fucking do that shit. It's cheap. Cheap as fuck. The butter's the key. The butter in the right amount. You don't want to like dump a ton of sugar. You got to do the right amount of sugar. You know, but it's not hard to do. You can find recipes that'll give you the exact measurements. I don't measure. I do it by eyeball. I know how much I need.
Yeah, it's not like you need measurements if you're going to make the actual pie dough, but not the fillings.
Exactly. And, oh yeah, it's one of the best pies, too, to melt ice cream over because all of the crust gets caramelized all the way around. So all the side of it is so crisp and flaky and vanilla flavored. And then you just put a scoop of fucking ice cream on top of that shit and just all just melts down in there and makes everything all, oh man, it's so good. I'm going to do it, baby. Next time we do a shop, give me we already got the apples.
Yeah. I might use them for that apple fritter cake if we don't get around to it.
Yeah. Well, I just, the next time we do a big shop, I want to make us an apple pie.
But yeah, I got banana bread on deck for sure, unless you are craving those bananas for some reason.
Hell to the fuck no. Banana bread. Love it. I might have one, but you don't need all those to make your banana bread.
I need two.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, never mind then. They're yours. The only way that you can upgrade a banana is by making it into your banana bread.
we still have that one slice that we've neglected that I need to clean out, but once that's done, it's done.
Tis what it is. You should put some oak-aged vanilla gelato made by that Talenti brand. Has a hint of bourbon taste. Yeah. I'll try and fancy it up. I might even add a little bourbon to that butter.
Yeah.
Just a splash of it to that butter and let that bake off in that apple pie. I bet that would be fucking amazing.
Probably would be. Add a little vanilla, maybe.
Yeah, a little touch of vanilla to that butter as well that you pour down through that. Just a little touch to add that, to spread that flavor around in there a little bit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm telling you guys right now, anybody that's listening, you follow that little quick recipe and you do it right, you're gonna have a fucking delicious apple pie in your hands. I guarantee it. Lard is the key to a dope pie. You want to work that lard into the dough. So I'm talking about a very easy to make pie. You're talking about a pie where you want to make your own pie dough, and you're absolutely right. When you're incorporating the fat into the pie dough, the best fucking thing that you can use is lard, because that just crisps up, caramelizes up like nobody's fucking business.
The hardest thing with dough is like getting all of, because you're supposed to use cold fat.
Yep.
You have to like break it all up. And
You have to work it.
Yeah.
And work it endlessly and let the warmth of your hands slowly but surely melt all that fat in equally to get the pie dough right. It's a long thing. You got to roll it out, work it again, roll it out, work it again, get all that shit incorporated. You ever have a slice of cheddar on apple pie? It's a southern thing. I had that because there is a very kind of, well, for me it's famous. I don't know how famous it is in the context of the movie, but there's a famous scene in the movie Taxi Driver where the main character, played by Robert De Niro, takes the leading lady out to a lunch date, and they have pie and coffee, and he orders a slice of apple pie with a slice of American cheese melted over the top, and they have a cute little conversation about it. And I was like, well, fuck it, I'll try it. It's good. It's not something I would do every time, and it's definitely not something I think I would do on my pie.
Yeah.
But for a more traditional, like, closed crust pie where it's got like a more solid top crust, or for a pie at a diner, I'd order that once in a while.
Yeah. You just don't like my stepdad's crazy concoctions of cheese.
Your stepdad puts some crazy shit together with cheese.
The cheese cocoa.
Yeah, the cheese hot chocolate. He puts fucking hot, pepper jack cheese, right, in his hot chocolate. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I'll try it. I hope I get the chance to try it, but man, I don't know about that. It's like a Puerto Rican thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the best thing to do with the fat is roll half your... Okay, all right. Give your pie advice. If anybody that's interested can read that long-ass fucking shit. I just told everybody how to make a great pie. They don't need any more extra special. See, you're one of those highfalutin tootins that's like, a pie isn't a pie lest you spend 6 hours rolling your own dough. It's like, all right, well, whatever.
My ex's aunt was so persnickety about it. Like, she was literally baking pies for someone. And she's like, oh, I burned this pie crust. She just threw 3 whole pie crusts away that were just slightly brown. It's like, wow. Okay.
Wow. Using the finest flours ground from Italian wheat. Yes. Paul, I need your take. Pizza is 80% determined by its toppings. Agree or disagree? Hard disagree. I think that there is a 50-50 beautiful nature to pizza, which is why it's such a popular thing. And let me defend my position. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying there's a 50-50 on this. Because I'm telling you, man, you get a doughy, shitty crust. It doesn't matter if there's bubbly, perfectly crisp toppings up there. You throw that pizza away. You get a crust that's too thick, or cooked too hard on the bottom and it's overly crispy and it can ruin that whole slice. That crust has to be in perfect balance. You can also add too many toppings. So you could have a perfectly good crust and then pile it so high with absurd cheese and sauce that it's just a big drippy, watery mess when people try and go eat it. There is a balance. There is a yin and a yang to pizza. And on the yin side is the topping, and on the yang side is the pizza. And when they come together perfectly, you have a pie. You have a pizza pie. Mwah! Delicioso, no?
Yeah, I think they were arguing about the sauce in particular versus toppings, which is a whole other thing.
Sauce is a part of the toppings. Look, a sauce is a topping. It's something you put on the crust. It doesn't hover above the crust. You top the crust with the fucking shit. The goddamn fucking shit is a topping. Toppings, crust, come together to create the holy pizza pie. We need not fight amongst each other about percentages, for the holy pizza pie comes together in perfect percentages, fills our belly with warm meat, cheese, and hearty breads. Everybody hug it out there.
Yeah. You even allow me to get the Hawaiian one.
Why would I? Dude. Sometimes I think that you teleport back in time to the 50s and you're like, every once in a while, Paul shall allow me. Dude, you could basically rob me blind and buy a Ferrari or some shit. Well, maybe not a Ferrari. You could buy a pretty nice, SUV and drive off, and I'd be like, oh.
No, I just mean, you're not, so offended by pineapples that you're like, oh my god, I'm not going to waste my money on pineapples.
Hell fucking no. If you want to eat it, dude, if you put something in your mouth and it fills your belly and it makes you happy, it was not a waste. I just ain't going to eat the shit, you know? I don't do fruit on pizza. I can't hang. But I don't look down my nose at those that do. If you enjoy it, if it fills you with glee and it makes your mouth water to think about it and have it, then get it. Enjoy it. The ultimate sin.
Artichokes are good.
Yeah.
Especially artichoke and chicken on a pizza.
Yeah, I've had some usually those come with a white sauce too. I tend to kind of shy away from white sauce pizzas, but when they're done right, they're really good. And I have had a good artichoke chicken kind of.
Yeah, Papa Murphy's has a good one. I've gotten a couple times.
Yeah. Papa Murphy's is pretty dope. People underrate Papa Murphy's, but it's pretty dope. I don't care what any of you say. Peaches and pizza are a match made in heaven. Get out of here, asbestos fingers. You're crazy. Peaches?
Peaches?
Yeah, even if they're fresh. Fresh peaches?
I honestly can't stand a peach, period. I just have something against peaches.
I can eat a peach, but I'm not a big fan. Is it the texture of the fuzzy skin that gets you? What if it's peeled?
Yeah, if it's peeled in a can, I'll eat it. But the idea of just a virgin peach is
I could eat a peach for hours. We just watched Face Off the other night.
Yeah.
Peach.
I think it was because I was eat peaches and not apples as a little kid. And I'm like, fuck no. I don't want no peaches instead of apples.
I'm with you on that. I like an apple better than a peach, but I would never put an apple on no pizza neither. You know, there's just some unholy sins that should never be committed, and for some reason, pineapple hopped out of a can onto a pizza somewhere, and people started eating it, and hey, look, different strokes for different folks. Jalapeno is an almost necessary topping for me. I can deal, I'm very simplistic with pizza. I'll tell you the 3 types of pizza that I like, if they're made well. I like a cheese pizza with nothing on it. I like a pepperoni pizza with nothing on it. And I like a pepperoni and mushroom or pepperoni and jalapeno pizza with nothing else on it. Beyond that, it starts to get too much for me. There's too many things going on and it's too much of a fucking thing. I like to be relatively fucking conservative with the amount of toppings on my pizza. I'll eat meat lovers. Like, if I go to a party and somebody's ordered a bunch of meat lovers and that's all there is, I'll eat a slice of it and it's okay. But I would never get that for myself.
It's too layered.
It's too layered and it's too heavy.
Yeah.
You know, I like to have a couple slices of pizza. And, like, if you eat 2 slices of fucking stonking-ass meat lovers on that thick-ass crust and it's just piled high with 10 pounds of pig, get one of those in you, you want to take a nap.
I'm very unpicky with pizza for some reason.
Hey, dude, that's fine. You like all kinds of pizza. That's most people. You know, most people have a very diverse. You know, I'm not super picky with pizza. Like I said, I'll eat pretty much anything on a pizza. Anchovies, not gonna do it. You know, anything else though? I'm trying to think of anything that I just won't eat on pizza. Anchovies, no. Pineapple, unfortunately, no.
Probably not. The ham and the pineapples, probably both of those are.
Well, the Canadian bacon and the pineapple, I mean, those are usually how they come. That's the Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah.
Without the pineapples, I'll eat a Canadian bacon pizza.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's not too porky for you?
No. It's, you know, like, when mixed in with pizza, the porkiness of things tends to be okay for me. Like I said, I can eat a meat lovers, and it's mostly just pig up there.
You have a special, like, partition between pork and bacon and sausage.
I do. I do. It's very true. My brain makes no sense. Where's Poop to chime in with their favorite topping? Oh, you know they're here. Swedish fish on a pizza. Get out of town, Joanne. You're out of your fucking mind. Call around to your local Casey's and ask them about Dice Olearoni. I don't know what that is, but Dice Pepperoni. Oh yeah. You know what, dude? I do like a place that has like a pepperoni lovers one that has both diced and rounds of pepperoni on it. Like, I do like an extra pepperoni pizza. They can go overboard on pepperoni. I especially love pepperonis that are thinly sliced and they get crispy like little chips on top of the fucking thing. That's the shit right there. They're crispy. Crispy. Paul, would you eat broccoli on a pizza? If it was like a chicken broccoli Alfredo pizza or something, I'd try it.
The artichoke one.
It's never one I'd probably order for myself, but I'd try it, you know, and maybe have a slice. Pepperoni is my number one and always was. When I was a kid, it was pepperoni or bust, or cheese or bust. Both of those are holdovers from my childhood. I love a cheese pizza. I really do, especially one like the 8 cheese pizzas. Got a lot of good different kinds of cheese and good Parmesan on it and shit. I like that. I like that, Holmes. I like just a simple, unassuming pepperoni pizza. There's a good balance in that. Pepperoni jalapeno. Sometimes pepperoni and mushrooms. Every once in a while, pepperoni, mushroom, and jalapeno. But I usually regret it when I do that because I'm like, it's too much.
The sausage and mushroom, and then you get the pepperoni and jalapeno.
Yep.
That's how we roll.
Yeah, that seems to be your favorite go-to one there. The sausage and shroom. How's our order going?
It's at the restaurant, supposedly. So
Okay.
it's probably going to be another 15-20 minutes, if I have to guess.
Darn it all to heck and back. But it is Friday night.
Okay.
Oh, it's on the way.
Now.
Dope.
They picked it up from the place in
Well,
the car.
That's not a good sign for this stream because I'm ending this stream so that I can go and sit and watch some Sopranos and devour stoner tacos. As soon as they're here, the stream is done. Paul, are you like me where if there's an overabundance of toppings on pizza, something about it triggers a psychological disgust in you? I've had pizzas that are like that, but it takes an absurdly overpiled pizza. Like, I've had pizzas, I think Papa Murphy's makes one that I just won't even go near. It's one of those like pans, like the extra thick crust, and it's like basically they make a bowl out of extra thick crust, and then they just throw big handfuls of meat in it. And then what ends up happening is you cut this slice off, and basically you end up with a pile of meat and dough. And it's just like, yeah. So I have gotten to the point where there's like just so much goddamn meat dangling off of different types, dangling off of every inch of every bite of pizza that I'm just like, ugh.
No, I'm with you, Phoebe. I can stand a Little Caesars.
Doing a Sopranos review, that's not a bad idea, honestly. I wasn't planning on it. I was actually just watching it for pleasure. I've seen it one time through, and Amelia has seen it one time through, but I think your time you said you weren't paying super close attention. You fell asleep to it.
I put it on, before we fell asleep.
So you remember some of the plot points, but you slept through a lot of the plot points, so it's kind of new for you, and it's almost new to me.
That was Game of Thrones too, so I probably watched Game of Thrones because you just leave it on all night like 6 times.
That's crazy, dude. Yeah, I can't hang with that, but I don't know. Sopranos is, I liked it. I've only seen it one time through, and I'm doing it for pleasure at this point. But that might be good to do like a seasonal review of The Sopranos one time, or an episode.
Did you end up actually watching season 1, or did I not catch you until season 2?
No, I didn't. I just actually decided one day, because I wasn't planning on watching the whole series again, and I might not. We might not finish it, but I was like, I want to jump into this, but I don't want to jump in at the very beginning before anything has taken place. Because I remember kind of how it starts. I want to jump in, so I went season 2. I'll just watch a couple episodes out of that. And then you joined me about 2 episodes in, and we've been watching ever since. We're a couple episodes into season 3 now. And, I'm having a good time with it. I want to check out Sopranos. I don't care about spoilers. I'd love to see a review to get better idea of it. Too busy to watch it currently. Yeah, I mean, hey. It would be a long-term project for me, because it would either be a bunch of small short videos or one long seasonal retrospective after the next, and there's 8 seasons of The Sopranos. So, that would be a long project for me to do. But I'd be interested in doing it. I really do love the show. There's a couple of shows I would love to do. One of them would be way easier. I could do a Twin Peaks one. That would be a lot of fun, but that would also be a hard one to do. Yeah. Twin Peaks is a very challenging show. I don't know if I would want to sit through it again, but you know what I would sit through again? Probably every fucking season of fucking American Horror Story that we've watched together eventually. Mm-hmm. And that would be a fun one to do a retrospective of. Yeah. What else would I watch that I've seen again, maybe? Oh, the first season of True Detective is one of my favorite pieces of television ever. I don't know if you ever saw it, babe.
Did we watch it together or no? If we didn't watch it together, then
I don't think we did.
Oh, we watched Mindhunter.
We watched Mindhunter together, yeah.
That's what I was torn on.
Yeah. No, we never watched the first season of True Detective. And that season is like a fucking symphony, dude. Holy shit, bro. Babylon 5. I watched some episodes of that when I was a kid, but never saw the whole series. Might be interesting to check out. I was also really enjoying my time with fucking Star Trek Deep Space Nine. More than I thought I was going to. So that might be one that I consider going back to and watching.
Did you watch the original series at all or no?
I've seen every episode of the original series at least twice. When I was a kid, it was rerun every Saturday after the cartoons. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite things to do would be skip a lot of the cartoons because I was only into a couple of them, and then catch an episode of the original series. So when I was a little wee lad, between the ages of probably like 5 and 8, I watched the whole original series by then.
But you haven't watched it as an adult?
No, I watched it again as an adult in my late 20s. When I first signed up for the streamable Netflix. So it might have been my early 30s, come to think of it. But it's been about 10 years since I've seen it. But I've seen it twice through. I'm pretty familiar with it. Seen every episode of The Next Generation as well. And I really enjoyed that when I was a kid as well. So I saw all that as a kid, and then I've seen all that as an adult again and really enjoyed that. But after that, I've really seen nothing to speak of any of the other shows. episode here and there, a couple episodes in a row maybe. So, and I really was liking Deep Space Nine.
What do you know? I guess there is a TJ stream.
Well, hey. What do you say? Incomplete change of topic and completely apropos of nothing, a question. What do you think of stickers hand painting on instrument? Is it gaudy or does it add character? Asking for a friend. I think that a person that is, a musician and chooses to decorate their instrument makes what's usually just kind of an uninteresting part of a musical act a visual part of their musical act. And I always think it's pretty fucking cool. Back when I was in high school, both of the guitar players in Apple Nasty had, old acoustic guitars that they played on that were all stickered up and painted up with shit written on them. And that was a very popular thing to see during my childhood and formative years, so I have an affinity for it. So yeah, I like it. I like that, Holmes. I like it. Yeah, Willie Nelson's guitar is a good example. It's their instrument. They can do whatever they want with it. Yeah, they can. And I like when they do. Merle Allen's bass, sure. Like any number of the guitars that Kurt smashed up. He had a number of guitars that clearly meant nothing to him that he would smash at the end of sets, but he also had acoustic guitars that were stickered up and written up and things that he carried from gig to gig. That sort of thing is pretty popular. Jimmy set one of his on fire. Oh, yes, he did. Pretty fucking awesome. Cool, this machine kills fascists on your guitar. That's neat. I like it. Still have my beat up, stickered up bass hanging on the wall from the good times. Dope, man. Man, I hope this COVID shit gets fucking done so I can start planning a trip to fucking Pittsburgh to get tatted up.
Yeah.
I've just made the decision that I really want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have these ideas in my head. I want to be able to send them to Zach and let him work on some shit and get him his money up front that he needs to do the designs, and then just get down there and have him fucking tap me up.
There's a dime.
Speak of the devil, and they appear. Our food is here. It's time for me to go. Goodbye.